name's Dan from Manitoba. What's going on? I was just kind of bored by a lot of kind of minimal music and stuff. And I wanted to, most of the records that I really love are like big fucking pop records with all sorts of shit going on in them. So I just wanted to represent that more or whatever.
How difficult is it for you to do everything yourself in the studio and then bring it live?
It's actually worked out really easily because to me the record, even though it's just all made up of samples pretty much, it sounds kind of like a band, so it was the only way that made sense to do a live show. And when I found out that these guys like that I played with a bunch before were into doing it, it just sort of like wrote itself from there.
Think of a pipe dream, like what would it be like?
It's kind of like halfway to what I want it to be. I'm a lot happier with it than touring with a laptop, which is what I did for the last album and stuff like that. But then again, I'd like to have a band with like 9 or 10 people on stage because there's so much going on. I'd like to be able to fucking bring a ridiculous just wall of noise kind of band on the road and stuff, but at the moment that's not feasible until we start selling out Madison Square Gardens or something like that. But hopefully with the next record we'll be able to expand it more and stuff like that.
You see yourself working with more people on future albums, or you think you're still going to keep it pretty?
I don't know. I work really well by myself, which I'm good at. I know I'm really picky and I know exactly what I want things to sound like. So I'll probably, and also I work like through, most of the time it's like working through the night and stuff like that, and all around the clock. It makes it easier for me to do things by myself, but we'll see. I'm just a bit of a control freak, so I tend to work by myself because of that. It's a lot of the really obvious things like the Beach Boys and My Bloody Valentine, Spaceman 3, and lots of hip hop stuff, and lots of like free jazz like Albert Eiler, and just people that have a completely unique sound and just doing something completely bugged out is usually what gets me going. most of the people I'd either want to work with, I'd be terrified of working with. It'd be like Timbaland, and I'd just be like stupid for me to be working with him. Or, yeah, I don't know. We'll see as things come along. At the moment, I have to be convinced. I have to think about it for a long time and be like, am I going to piss this person off? Are they going to piss me off? And then I have to think about it for a while. So we'll see.
Do you think it's hard to work with you then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. To me, it's just kind of irrelevant what the technology's like, because I use just like shitty fucking sequencing software in a way that's just pretty much like you know, use a recording desk in a studio or whatever, just to sequence stuff out and whatever. So to me, it's far more important like the ideas people are having rather than the plugins they're using or whatever. But you know, to each their own. That's just kind of the way I feel about it, I guess. We got a poster of ZZ Top in the van, and they got like embroidered suits and obviously long beards and sunglasses, and they're just fucking killing it every night on the road. That'd be pretty good.
What any great experiences from playing live, doing some live shows and stuff like that?
We've had a ton. This whole tour has been really, really awesome. We did 2 gigs in Scotland that were just fucking berserk. This girl jumped up on stage and started fucking a pole on stage, and yeah, it was just pretty much a lot of the dates that we've done have been pretty fucking crazy. So.
I know, man.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, go get your Red Bulls.
Yeah, I'm just waiting up.
Okay.
And I want to get in the 60 psychedelic section.
What are some of your favorite records? Say like favorite records of all time, maybe.
Favorite records is Joni Mitchell Blue, Joe Henderson and Alice Coltrane, The Elements. Narsilmatic. That's always a hard question. That shit changes every few days, I guess.
What are some of the favorite things that you've recently acquired
Recently acquired.
that you just can't get off your turntables or?
There's this thing called Mad Villain, which is Madlib and MF Doom have done this collaboration, and we've been playing in the tour bus like every day, like 6 times. And all of us are completely like mental about it. That's a really big deal for me at the moment. What else? I listen to more old music than new music, I guess. There are loads of like things at certain times that I'll be desperate for. Like recently, there's jazz albums mainly are the things that I'm always like. They're the things I collect more than any other style of music, and I'm more of a completist with that sort of thing. So there's this Alan Shorter album called Parabola I recently got, which was kind of exciting. But the most exciting things by far are the ones that you've never ever heard of that you just pull up. Like when I was in Portland last year, and I got it was like 4 or 5 religious albums, all like private press religious records, all of harps and weird stuff, and it was amazing. They were like really, really good. And, they're records that I'll never see other copies of again in my life. Finding things like, I found a record of Dogs' Heartbeats in San Francisco last year that, just was crazy. I can't imagine.
You really like the harp, don't you?
Yeah.
So do you think being in a rock band changes your perception of composition for electronic music?
Yeah, totally. I think I've got an understanding of giving tracks. Everyone always says to me, music's got quite a natural feel in terms of the way the compositions work. It sounds natural to people, and I think I'm very familiar with the idea of like how to make a track work so where all the drums drop in and how the whole composition works. It's more as how a band would play it if they were working on it, I guess, because I've been involved in live music as long as other stuff as well.
Is Four Tet an imaginary 4-piece band?
But that was when I first started. That was kind of the idea was that I never thought of this as being an important project. It was just like a one-off thing, and it was kind of like I just wanted to make a record that was kind of a fuck you to all the kind of dance records that were coming out at the time that were kind of jazz influence supposedly, because they're always really kind of twee and sort of always fusiony type of solos and stuff, and I just always saw jazz as being much more vicious, dark sort of thing. And it's probably the most punk record I've ever put out, the first album. They call it Four Tet because I could imagine buying some weird like psychedelic jazz album from like Belgium or something, and that would be the sort of thing that I'd see on the cover that would make me just buy it straight away. So it doesn't really make any sense now because things have moved on in ways I never even dreamt they would with the whole thing. But
did you know there was a Four Tet prior to starting Four Tet?
No, not at all. But there's some band out in like San Francisco or something that's got a website, and I don't know what they do or anything, but their website's just closed down, so I don't know whether they still exist or not. And they've actually contacted me and asked me if I want to buy the domain. $89.
Well, the guy did come from Provincetown.
How long does it take you to piece songs together?
Anything from like 3 hours to 3 months, basically. Just depending on, I might start work on something and I might just capture a moment, and I might just be totally happy with it and just stick with what happens in that little moment. I might do something that's quite a long, drawn-out process where I do the bulk of it, but then keep going back to it every few days and endlessly tweaking it and changing it. And I like to work on something and then sit on it for a little bit so I can decide whether I've been ambitious enough, or whether I throw a lot of stuff away halfway through just because I suddenly realise maybe I'm not really achieving much, or it's just kind of repetition of other stuff I've done. See, this one's got a harp on the back, so I'm probably going to buy it. It's much more vicious, the stuff I do live. I don't really care about trying to recreate stuff on the record at all. I want people to come along and hear like elements and stuff of the record, but hear me kind of pushing them in whatever new directions I'm interested in, and where my mind's at the moment, really. Because, like I was saying, it comes a lot from sort of jazz music and things. Holy shit! I've never seen another copy of this. The groupies. It's incredible. All it is just groupies talking about their sexual exploits with bands. And there's a film of it as well. Last night in Brooklyn was amazing, like mind-blowing. It was completely packed. Everyone was dancing, going nuts. Like really, really amazing show. Then Montreal, for instance, completely sold out, but terrible. Like everyone stood there completely still, and like drums were coming. No one would even like nod their head for any of the bands. It just seemed so kind of dead. Cleveland, Ohio was absolutely incredible. Probably like one of the best shows as well. And it's a good tour. Every single gig's completely packed, but I don't know, it's just a bit frustrating when the crowd doesn't quite let go. But Brooklyn last night, everyone was going crazy. It was really, really good. I think people don't give the audiences enough credit a lot of the time. I think there's so many critics around saying, there's people that aren't going to get into it, it's not right or whatever. And I do a show. The shows I've done with laptops, the reaction is insane compared to the reaction I've had playing with bands and things. It's a totally different sort of scene. I've never had a situation where people coming up to me afterwards and be like, "What was that all about?" It doesn't. It seemed to. I don't know. I think people get it more than even I realise. What I'm trying to do and what it's all about. And especially after doing support slots for like rock bands, where you turn up and you just think that people always say to me, how on earth can you support a big rock band like that? It's going to be like total disaster. You know, you'll get up there and everyone will be like, you know, piss off. We want to have a proper, you know, they expect to see traditional bands set up, and then there's just me with computers, but it hasn't been the experience at all. You know, the crowd seems to totally appreciate it and think it's okay. So.
Why you put out an album, you put out albums actually in the same years that Frigid put out albums,
Yeah.
but you never toured together.
Yeah, I can't, like, I wouldn't want to ever do both things at once, because you'd end up giving, you know, half your energy to each performance rather than all your energy to one. I think, you know, when I'm doing a show, I want to kind of do one thing really, and just make sure I do it the best I can, rather than you know, rather than have to, just one show's stressful enough, basically, I guess. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to record shopping.
All right.